Hello, it's Gav from IGN, and I'm joined by James and Greg from Rear. Guys, what is this game?
It's By The Ghoulies, which is it was our take on a fun beat 'em up in a Scooby-Doo-esque haunted house.
Okay. Now the rumour, because this was my very first game in the industry, and the rumour when I joined the team,
you're missing all the hidden gems on those books.
Now I was always told when I joined the team that the name came first and the game followed.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It was I think it was a conversation I had with Tim once. It was like, wouldn't it be great if we had a game called By The Ghoulies for I don't know, for whatever reason, and then eventually we did make one. Yes, it was. It's probably the only example I can think where we had a name right from the start rather than arguing about it or pondering. So yes, and you heard the team singing there at the start of the game. That was all the team.
Aww.
That worked on the game was singing. We quite like the old Hammer films and the old kind of old horror films where when they were silent and no one spoke, they had those screens that appeared where they'd actually say things. So we kind of took that as an inspiration and mixed it with Scooby-Doo and a bit of Double Dragon by the looks of it.
Awesome. It actually looks really good, doesn't it?
It's all banjo stuff now on the thing. Yeah, it was. At the time we were trying to find a style that was obviously that fitted the game, the cartoon look, but as with a lot of Rare games, we wanted a timeless style, so that's something that wasn't going to age, so you'd look back at it in like a year or 2 years later and it was like, oh okay, that still looks relevant, it still looks current. But even now, all these years later, I think the simplicity of the style and the way things are shaded and the way things are lit, it's aged surprisingly well. I think it's just the general detail in the scene as well. I remember saying, when we were trying to work out the style, we didn't have very many rules, but one of them was never draw a straight line.
Right.
So as you can see,
everything's like higgledy-piggledy.
Everything's just wonky.
That's cool.
And it just gives it this kind of, not like the door frame's wonky, the door itself's wonky, the units are wonky. And it gives it this charming kind of crooked feel that...
Now this was my first ever contribution to Rare. This was my first ever character that I put into the game.
Amazing.
So, he's got a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
Still know him as Junior.
I think he was still learning. He was supposed to be really capable. He should have killed you by now, but James is still learning his craft.
I have to try and kill the zombie somehow. So this is.
I know he's gone.
Little rocket out from Grimm.
One of our personal favourites.
This is the legendary Embassy. Now, the Embassy was based off of a nightclub in Tamworth.
Really?
So many of us frequented back in the day.
Oh no. What was it called? The Embassy?
It was called the Embassy.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what it's turned into now.
Yeah.
It's got. They tarted it up and did a revamp on it and tried to make it respectable and failed miserably.
That's a good local club name, the Embassy. When I grew up, the club that was by me was called Blisters.
Blisters,
and it's still called that as well. I know, it's foul, isn't it?
Oh, there's one. What's the chain round by? There used to be one called Liquid.
Yeah.
Which always sounded a bit suspect.
The one that I went to the other day, like in a local place that I went in Watford, was called Paparazzi. That was foul.
Oh, now there's a beef going on. The zombies miffed with the skeleton.
Nice.
Of course, people, I know, for some reason at the time said I looked like the main character as if I'd specified that I had to be the main character.
Yeah.
And I guess my head did look a bit like that, but everyone says, oh, that was you, Inton. It's like, well, no, not. It's not.
It was the green jumper that...
it was. I did used to have a jumper a bit like that, but and kind of slightly spiky hair. So everyone said, "Have you put yourself in a game?" Like, well, no, not really.
Would you generally do that?
No, but I did. I have actually named my son after the character in the game. His middle name is actually...
I did not realise.
He is. His middle name is Cooper, which is actually from here. So
that's awesome.
So it's like when I was trying to pick a name for him, and my nephew is a big games fan, and I wanted to pick something nice. And he says, "What should we call him?" He says, "You should call him Banjo." And I says, "Oh no, I can't do that."
You should have. That'd been amazing.
Child's name with Banjo, just as a middle name. It wasn't going to be first name.
My wife's not going to go for Banjo.
But I said Banjo. I'm not going to sell that. But maybe something else. So we compromised it.
I'm never quite sure what you put in this water pistol.
Is it holy water?
It was. No, we couldn't call it holy water because it was an E-rated game. So.
Really?
Yeah, you can't go near religious stuff in an E-rated game, so...
That's really interesting.
I can't remember what we called it. We called it something else. It was the same in Banjo, where we had a bit with this pirate who in I think it was Banjo 2.
Yeah.
He was clearly drunk. He got this animation where he was wobbling and sitting at the table. But we couldn't. You can't do that. It's a rated game. So we just kind of toned it down a bit so he wasn't quite as drunk, and then claimed he was seasick. So it's
That's how you get around it.
So it's same thing, but
It's like we went to the milk bar as well.
That's right. Yeah. There's always ways of trying to put humour.
Old seaman's wood stain.
Yeah, he wasn't completely.
Captain Black. That's Captain Black.
Yeah, you snuck that in.
Yeah, that's Captain Blacko, who's actually the pirate from Banjo.
Oh, awesome.
Captain Blacko's barnacle remover.
Yeah.
So, again, cross-referencing different games.
That's good, isn't it?
So we always try to have multi-layered humour. Like, there's the stuff that obviously everybody would get, and the kids would find funny that you like whacking the hunchback with ridiculous objects, but then we always wanted an extra layer in.
Yeah.
Again, I was a massive fan of The Simpsons at the time, and they did such a good job of having that double layer of humour, that stuff that kids find funny, and then stuff for adults. We were just, there's the Medusa, who, as everyone knows, turns you to stone. So,
There's a zombie doing the David Brent dance as well.
It's particularly horrible.
There he is.
What's he dancing
for? He's just happy.
He's having a good time. Leave him alone. He's all right.
There's some little set pieces I absolutely love though. Do you remember there's some skeletons bending down over a bonfire, basically cooking up some breakfast.
Right.
And they're there just like frying some eggs, inspecting the toast,
Yeah.
how they go, and then it's you come in and start causing chaos.
I think that's the fun stuff. That you just wanted to feel like these characters lived in this house, and it was you disturbing them, so they'd be doing everyday things. They weren't just like most fighting games. It was usually you come across characters and they were just like waiting for you.
Yeah.
They'd be standing there waiting to attack you, whereas we wanted to make it feel like you were disturbing them, and they've been doing all this crazy stuff.
Cameron, can you actually defeat Medusa?
Or
does she just get annoyed?
That
no.
Well, you get a head full of snakes there.
She's got the evil stare.
Give you the stare. Go on, get stared at. Did you get the shock?
Oh, I think I picked up the power that auto completes. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. She's not happy about that. So that was Grabbed by the Ghoulies, just one of the games that you can play on the Rare Replay.